1 second, everyone. Oh, Bear, do you mind just keeping the volume down? Sorry. No. 1 sec, guys. 1 sec. 1 sec. Oh, how funny. Okay. Hello. Hi, everyone. Let's get started, shall we? I won't dick around too much at the beginning here. I'll just fire up Audacity and get the recording happening, and then we'll get started. Okay, here we go. Very good. Okay. Make sure that my voice is coming through okay. Check, check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that seems loud enough. Let's go a little bit louder. Just a little bit. All right. That should be good enough. Okay, that's fine. Yep. Beautiful. Now, let's do that. And then let's do this. And we're good to go. I'll actually just fire up one more Chrome window. Drag that down there. Very good. Okay, we're good. Happy days. All right, guys, I'm going to launch right into this monologue. I've got my coffee handy, which is good. I'm going to need that. I'll take a quick slurp now. That's fucking hot. That's what happens when you make hot coffee. And guys, look, this is going to be a monologue. I think this will take around about 45 minutes to an hour. I just want to rant about a whole bunch of era stuff, really just talk about what I've been doing in game lately, but also that will lead into a lot of my thoughts and, you know, hot takes and some freezing cold takes on some of the issues around era. Eventually we'll talk a little tiny bit about SoM2, Wrath, Hardcore, but I think I mostly want to talk about era because that's what I've been doing lately, and we'll talk about some of the classes that I've been fucking around with, and we'll go from there. So strap in, enjoy this. And guys, by all means, you know, you can ask questions while I'm going. Don't feel like you can't interrupt and make notes or post questions on anything that you hear. And I'll try and weave it in where I can, if I can. Okay, here we go, everyone. So I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you guys just by myself, which I haven't done for a little while. And as I've said on the show, so many of you have given me such amazingly positive feedback on these monologues. I think I've done 2 now, and you guys have been like, you know, Josh, we enjoy them. Hit us up with more. And I'm like, all right, it's your funeral. Here we go. Some more hot takes and perhaps freezing cold takes from yours truly. See what I've got to say when I'm all by myself and I don't have you guys to lean on as a crutch with the listener calls. But I've been doing a lot in game lately, which is funny because it's such an odd time for classic players. It really, really is. I think this window of time is one of the strangest that we've dealt with over the last 3.5 years. And it's more so due to a little bit of lacking direction in terms of where we want to go. We've got so many little options before us now. And I say little being like, you know, we've got things to do, but some might be more appealing than others, and really nothing like meaty to sink our teeth into unless you're a really, really diehard hardcore player. It's just, at the moment, we have the following options laid out on a platter before us by Blizzard. Right. You like World of Warcraft. You like World of Warcraft Classic, do you? Well, here's what we've got on the menu. We've got Classic Era. We've got Wrath Classic. And then there is a fan-made mode that's popping off right now called Hardcore. So, you know, pick what you like of those 3. Those are really your options. But then, you know, if you're someone who does like to keep abreast of what's going on in all the weird and wacky corners of the internet. Obviously, you've always got, private servers as well that some people like to dabble in. And then you've got Dragonflight as well, retail. I'm not going to sit here and shit on retail. Dragonflight is a perfectly fun expansion. A lot of people are really enjoying it. And that's got new content, I believe, dropping quite soon. So there's a few World of Warcraft options before you. Zim has said he stopped doing his master's homework just to watch this. So let's hear it, Josh. Oh, no pressure, Zim. When you don't get your degree, you can't come blaming me. I kid, obviously, mate. Please go study as well. But yes, here we go. I'm touched, Zim. Thank you so much for listening in. So those are the options before us at the all-you-can-eat buffet for World of Warcraft right now. And the funny thing about that is none of those options to me personally, now again, guys, please don't kick down my door and yell at me. I'm just saying subjectively here, nothing is really leaping off the menu to me. It's like when you go to that restaurant and you sort of look at the vast menu and just say, oh, I mean, it's all okay, but this is nothing that I look at and go, yes, that, boom, do it. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm not having fun as well. I'm playing a shitload of Era, and we're going to talk about that, and I'm enjoying Era, but it's not a fresh server. It's not SoM2. It's a bit of a weird vibe around Era at the moment in that, yes, it's there forever. It's what we always wanted. It's World of Warcraft Classic, World of Warcraft Vanilla, being kept in its museum state where we can always go and access it. That's wonderful, and it's particularly popular at the moment, given that it is a bit of a downtime. So that's great, right? Well, it's still got an odd vibe just because we are waiting for the next thing, and it feels like just a halfway point, or just a waiting room, obviously, as the meme goes. It is kind of Season of Mastery 2 waiting room, or Cataclysm Classic waiting room, if you will. So whilst Era is fun, it will always have that weird unspoken backdrop behind it. Then we move on to Wrath. Well, I mean, fuck, Wrath is a perfectly fine game. I've said on this podcast, I will absolutely quote myself and say, I think that Wrath is the schmickest version of Classic, of the trilogy. It's blatantly obvious to me that the devs just got a lot of things right with Wrath when it comes to the classes. I have more to say about the actual content and the world. I won't go into it too much here, but I do feel that it's a little bit lacking in that it just changed the very tone of the game. And we're all talking here lately about how vanilla is amazing, and we've really come to just want to go on a slight tangent here. It's amazing to me how we had to re-experience TBC and Wrath to truly appreciate vanilla again. So everyone signed the petitions. Everyone fought for WoW Classic to be a thing. We got it. Everyone adored it, by and large for the most part. Rave reviews for WoW Classic. Of course, that people are going to bitch about certain things like, server performance, layering, fucking batching, little things like that. But on the whole, I think if you really pressed most WoW Classic players, when they're not trying super duper hard to just be a toxic fuckwit on the internet, in a moment of honesty, you'd get from a lot of people like, yeah, it was a fucking great experience. I had a lot of fun. Then we go through TBC, then we go through Wrath. And don't get me wrong, people have very much so enjoyed TBC and very much so enjoyed Wrath. But I really think once Classic stopped running, and of course Era was always there, but once it's Era, Classic stopped being popular and Era became a bit of a ghost town, it really made people appreciate the little things and the fucked up things about vanilla all over again. They knew they loved it. Then the second they get transported to a smaller continent in an expansion, doing, slightly more updated gameplay, hey, tighter quest hubs, hey, the classes have some funkier things and, a bit more complexity to them, and this is good and this is better and blah, blah, blah. Oh, the rating is so much easier. We're not a 40-man anymore. It's so much smoother, right? whilst objectively on paper the game blatantly got, in air quotes, better, it lost so much of its soul. And I've never felt that more than I have right now. And like I said, I've never played less of the game than I have been with Wrath. I think Wrath is a fucking great version of the game, but I don't want to play it, which is such a bizarre fucking thing to say. Really, really bizarre thing to say. And I know a lot of you might be like, oh, what does that mean? Fucking explain yourself, Josh. But I think just as many of you would be thinking, he doesn't have to explain himself. I know exactly what he's talking about. So thank you for letting me go on that little bit of a tangent just on, and I'll talk about Wrath some more soon. But what I'm getting at is I still log on to Wrath. It's not that I'm not playing it. I had a little bit of a problem with Wrath because my server broke down, like happened to so many of you through, vanilla or classic, I should say, or TBC. It finally happened to me. My server fell apart, faction died, everyone had to transfer, guild transferred, everyone's buying fucking faction transfers, server transfers. I didn't want to pay for shit. I didn't want to reward Blizzard for kind of dropping the ball on that one. And yeah, that those circumstances did steal a lot of my lust for Wrath. But it was more than that. It wasn't just that. And even though I'm leveling the odd alt here and there, and I mean, I'm fucking around with a rogue in Northrend leveling, and I'm like, this feels amazing. Every class, I am blown a fucking way by how slick every class is in Wrath. I want to play them all. I want to level them all. I want to PvP with them all. They fucking are fantastic. Every shortcoming in my mind, every major shortcoming is fixed in Wrath. So great, the classes are fucking beautiful. Problem is the content isn't. So I don't want to use the class in the content that I've got because there's no worlds to go out there and dick around in. And that might be, obviously that the players, as I half tongue-in-cheek say, might wear some of the blame because we're raid logging and, people are buying gold and there's no reason to log in outside of raids anymore. And all these reasons as to why Wrath Classic might feel a little bit different to Wrath Original, but it's still the way it is. And I still don't particularly want to log on because I don't want to raid anymore. And there's no one really to... at max level, how much PvP is really going on in the open world. And arena participation is super low. And the people that are participating are the fucking best players in the world who will fucking eat you for breakfast. So good luck. It's an odd time for Wrath. And I just feel that whilst there's a lot of... I'm not going to sit here and be the doomsayer. We're like, no one's playing Wrath. Wrath is shit. That's not what I'm saying. It's quite the opposite. People are very much so out there enjoying Wrath. A lot of guilds out there taking down a lot of tough content, having a great fucking time, and I think that's wonderful. But I do just, if I'm trying to put my finger on the pulse of the community, I do get the impression that, I'm somewhat hesitant to say this, but I do get the impression that people are getting a tiny bit over Wrath already. And I point to things like the raid logging and I don't know, I just... All-Jua was fantastic, but fuck me dead, it seemed like people got over it quickly. And now you're about to go through, TOGC, a patch that doesn't really offer a boatload of fun or content. And Wrath is about to go through a very odd period in and of itself. They buffed All-Jua to keep people interested, knowing that TOGC isn't exactly a laugh-a-minute patch. But I wonder what's coming for Wrath. But I've jumped the gun. I've talked a bit too much about Wrath earlier than I expected to. We'll come back to that. I want to come back to Era. I was going through this tangent of all the options out there because then you got Hardcore, obviously, and I'm just talking through the menu options like I said before. Hardcore is fucking popping off. I am continuously blown away by how popular this game mode got. Full credit to, the community and the people that pumped this thing up and made it happen. Look, and, some of you might know, look, I'm on board with the Hardcore as a game mode. Yeah, I've got some weird, things going on with a couple of the guys in the community that I'm not huge fans of. But I will still, even if I'm not a huge fan of a couple of people, I still absolutely will recognize the ridiculous work that they put into building this thing up, and it's gone far beyond anything I could have ever imagined. So I do tip my hat and respectfully say, like, fuck, you did a great job getting it to where it is. So well done in that regard. And the negatives I've got to say I won't get into on the podcast, but it's hardcore is just fucking fantastic. I mean, I've played it. You'll hear a hardcore call on this very episode. 2.5 hours of some really big hardcore fans talking about what it means to them, and the pros and cons, and what official servers might look like when they inevitably come. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's the worst kept secret in the world right now that they are coming. It's something that grabs me when I never thought it would. And I hope that Blizzard really takes care of the hardcore enjoyers out there. I really, really do. I think it's wonderful when people have options. There's so many people on the Reddit that want to shit on hardcore or change the rules, and we'll get into all that and be like, oh, this thing they've built, I don't like it, so here's how we change it to make it more for me. Or, hardcore's fucking stupid, mate, it defeats all the purpose of an MMO, blah, blah, blah. Like, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up, you hating fucking cunts. Let people enjoy a fucking custom game mode that they made for themselves, that they know is not exactly supposed to be a substitute for the fucking, game proper. They know that. It's a voluntary little fun thing they like to do on the side, and all these fuckwits are coming in wanting to change things to make it quote-unquote better, just so they can fucking do it. But, I'll get into that. Look at me, I'm getting angry already. Hardcore's fantastic is my point, and that's another option for you. So these are the things you can do. And Dragonflight, again, I haven't played much Dragonflight. I played like the opening 2 weeks. I had fun. I don't know why I stopped. I just did. But there's so many things out there. Private servers. Look, I played a TBC private server that launched like 3 weeks ago. I had a fucking great time. Stopped playing because I was leveling a rogue, and I was like, I don't really want to PvE on a rogue. And I don't know. I just feel like TBC is kind of the PvE expansion. I don't know. We'll get into that soon. My thoughts about Rogue. I've got a lot to say. But then I tried out another private server. Everyone's been like, Josh, you got to try out Turtle WoW. Oh my God, it's the fucking greatest thing since sliced bread. I sadly disagree, but I'll get into that later on. I don't want to. I'll tease that and talk to you about my thoughts on that towards the end of this monologue. What I'm trying to get across to you in this very elongated opening address is that I'm fucking everywhere. I'm playing everything. I've never felt more abreast of the World of Warcraft landscape in my playing or podcasting career than I do right now. I really feel good about being in tune, for the most part, with the news, with what people are doing, and getting amongst it and actually playing on all these fucking servers obviously gives you the right to start to comment somewhat. And yeah, I'm not max level on a lot of them, but I've played a fuck enough to know a thing or two. Just in the last month, I've leveled a rogue to fucking 63 on a private server. I've leveled fucking a rogue to 25 in era. I've leveled a fucking shaman to 17 on era. I've leveled a hardcore paladin to 27 on Bloodsail Buccaneers. I've leveled a DK and a rogue on Wrath through the Northrend experience. I'm just doing a little bit of everything and having a great time doing it. And again, that is a testament to the draw of World of Warcraft on the whole, even now here in 2023. So I think that it's still a giant pat on the back to the IP in general, and the fact that all of you are still here listening to a podcast about it right now. We're very passionate people. What I lovingly like to refer to as sort of like modern age chess, World of Warcraft. It's out there. It's in a relatively healthy state, I think, and there's a lot on the horizon that could be positive for the future of WoW. So that's fantastic. Look, now that I've gotten through that intro, let me get to the specifics about really what I've been doing. And I want the bulk of this conversation to be about my time in era, as I sip my coffee and get smug for a second, guys. Zim brings up an interesting question that I will want to talk about when we get to the Wrath portion of the monologue. When he mentions that maybe having the All-Jawar patch extended wasn't the correct move after all, question mark. Definitely a conversation I think that warrants some diving into, Zim. People are saying, Josh, don't you love PvP? Yes, absolutely. Don't you love Wrath PvP? Yes, I love it all. I love all PvP. Vanilla, TBC, Wrath, I love it. I will talk about that. Don't worry about it. We're about to get into a huge PvP conversation. Rip Sky Fury, yes. Turns out that the fresh server did only last, 4 or 5 months. Who could have seen that one coming? Sorry, guys, I'm just going through some of the comments on YouTube. But yeah, let's get into the meat of it here. So, as I mentioned, what have I been doing on Era? Well, we'll separate the hardcore character and we'll just talk about Era proper. I know the meme at the moment on the Classic WoW subreddit is to make fun of all the posts that get put up about, Era is thriving. And I have to have a laugh in that regard too, Yes, the community can be a little bit obnoxious. Yes, when you trawl through YouTube, when you trawl through the subreddit and everything, obviously and understandably, they're trying to drum up some excitement for Era and get more people considering it and jumping over there. It's, part and parcel of a server. We've been seeing this, for years with private servers as well. You got to advertise the thing. You got to make people think it's going great and you're having a great time and get some fucking players over there. Get that, those are rookie numbers. You got to get those fucking population numbers up. So I don't begrudge necessarily all the really positive players for jumping on the subreddit and making, 50 fucking thousand posts about how much Era is thriving. I do think there are some that get a little bit obnoxious, and I think that there's definitely some form of rose-tinted glasses. I feel like maybe it's not really so much rose-tinted glasses, but a little bit of used car salesman lingo popping out in some of these posts from people who, if they do, it's not so much a thing now because Era is really going well now, I really must say. But a month or two ago, it was much quieter, but people were still like, oh, mate, it's fucking going nuts. It wasn't going nuts, but it did have people playing it. But I appreciate the hyperbole. And hey, fuck, you can even say that hyperbole worked, all those over the top, like, oh my God, there's 1 million people playing Era right now, when there really wasn't. I mean, it built it up to what it is now, you could say. So, I mean, kind of good job, I guess, the overly the overly positive Era posts. But yeah. So Era is going very well. If you go into any capital city, it's clearly like, it feels like a moderately well-populated server during the classic days, quite frankly. It doesn't feel like a mega server, but it feels like a decently populated server. I have really been enjoying it. I'm using it, and I am prone to do this. I'm using it as practice. I'd love to. I have a 60 on Era. I have a hunter that I copied over from SoM. A lot of you might not actually realize I did level to 60 in Season of Mastery. I didn't talk about it a lot, but I did it. I had a hunter that hit 60 in mid-January, which was like, 2.5 months or whatever after SoM launched. Got there eventually. And he was just sitting there ready for the free transfer over to Era. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. Have barely fucking played him, but it's good to have him for one of the moments that I'll talk to you about soon. But I mainly wanted to level again and be like, I know even quite recently I said on the show that I'd love to do Hunter again in Season of Mastery 2, but I very, very quickly changed my tune after I recorded that on the podcast, as I'm prone to do when I talk about what classes I want to play. And it really became, look, I have to spend a lot of time with Rogue to figure out whether or not I actually like this class, given now that I am World PvP #1 overall. If I'm on a server that doesn't have World PvP, I'm quite frankly not interested. That is one of the explanations as to why I'm not playing much Wrath these days. But yeah, if there's no World PvP, I'm not playing your server. Private or fucking Blizzard run. That's just how the cookie crumbles. So it is such an integral part to World of Warcraft for me now. I have to go back and laugh because it was such a huge discussion where you all remember before Classic launch that everyone and their mother convinced the world that if you weren't playing on a PvP server, you weren't doing WoW right. If it's Classic, it's got to be PvP server all the way. And then obviously we came to understand that a lot of the people that got sucked into that argument quickly discovered that actually they didn't like PvP very much, and that they had kind of had the dripping honey in the ear turn them towards a server that they weren't a big fan of. All of a sudden, they don't like getting ganked out in the open world. They don't like having their time wasted when either they don't have that much interest in world PvP or they're not very good at it, or they thought that world PvP was just going to be them shitting on people all the time and didn't realize that sometimes the coin lands on the other side and you get shit on. So for me, I in embracing world PvP, I want to know what class really makes me feel good as a world PvP player. And I know that Shaman, I already know, well, I should say, I know that, Wrath Shaman I was very happy with, but I was like, I presume that most of my love of Shaman will translate back to vanilla in a PvP sense. Now, a lot of you might be laughing at that because you know how different the vanilla Shaman is to the Wrath Shaman, obviously, as all the classes are. But there's still a generic love of the class fantasy and the feel of, hitting shock and dropping totems that's somewhat generic between expansions. But yeah, I'll get into the Shaman thing soon. But I've been spending a lot of time with Rogue, so I'm like, look, I've not fucking touched Rogue. I've shit on this class for 3 years. I played it originally 15 years ago for 5 years. It was the only class I fucking played, but I didn't PvP. So I need to come back and figure this out. Rogue, Druid, and Warrior are the 3 classes left that I've not seriously played in Classic. Just those 3 classes. I've spent significant time with all the other classes. Rogue, Warrior, Druid, I am very, very low on knowledge of and playtime with. So I go, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do this Rogue thing. Leveled a Rogue on a private server, leveled a Rogue on Era. Really enjoyed it. And I take back a lot of the things that I said about Rogue. Well, I didn't actually shit on Rogue that much. I just said that I wasn't interested in it because I feel like I've been there, done that. But my main negative points against Rogue have more been focused at the kinds of players and the personalities that play it or get attracted to it. And I still stand by, quite frankly, even if I play it as well, even more so, I still 100% stand by my comment of like, you are an in-game shithead if you play a rogue. You're the virtual cunt. You're the online agitator. And you know that. You played this class to be a certain archetype. You played this class to tap into a certain side of your personality that maybe you can't flex as much IRL. And it invites you and allows you to be so bad that a lot of people are happy to jump at the chance to do so. So like I've always said, if you're a rogue aficionado, I really have to emphasize this. It doesn't make you a bad person in real life. I'm sure there are fucking amazing people, Mother Teresa-like, who do wonderful things IRL, but then turn into a fucking shithead when they jump online in World of Warcraft. And it gives them the opportunity to jump into that side of themselves that they never get to explore otherwise. And that's fine, quite frankly. That's fine. I'll still call you a dickhead, but, I'll defend to the death your right to do it. You know what I mean? As all the rogues are popping off in chat, Envy is saying he feels attacked. Hello, mate. Chad's here saying all these points are fair and he agrees. Thank you, Chad. Fred Munro's here. Fred, I love you. I was thinking I did promise you I wanted to talk to you on the podcast again sometime soon. I still want to do that. I still mean that, mate. But look, playing Rogue was such an odd experience for me in that, like I said, I enjoyed it. But I'll dive into now a couple of points about my experiences with Era Rogues. The most frustrating time I've ever had with the game in 3.5 years. Now, but Josh, you're thinking, you just said it was fun. What you just said sounds very pessimistic about rogues. It's complicated, is my answer. Rogue is a lot of fun when you're winning. Rogue also can very quickly turn into the most frustrating class in this fucking game. It can very quickly turn into the weakest class in this game. It can very quickly turn into the class that just makes you want to fucking quit the game. Now, we all know that Rogue requires, a high skill cap. Yes. I don't have to go into it. We all, some of you might be laughing going, oh, Josh just hasn't figured out how to drive one. That's why he fucking thinks it's shit. No, it's not actually that. Oh my God, my cat. Most of my frustrations aren't actually PvP related. They're PvE related. You guys know me. I don't care if I lose in PvP. I don't, I don't feel like someone, I don't feel like I got a small dick if I lose in world PvP. I jump into a lot of stupid situations and just fucking Leroy Jenkins it up and see what happens. You jump into 2v1s going, I'm probably going to lose this, but I'll have fun doing so. And then on the odd times when you pull it off, you feel like a fucking hero. You know what I mean? I have no dramas, getting my ass kicked on a rogue in PvP. I do have dramas getting my ass kicked in PvE on a rogue. And it's funny because I've leveled so many fucking characters over the years. Rogue was the hardest. And again, you rogue vets might be laughing going, you're hitting the wrong buttons. You're not vanishing when you should vanish. You're not sprinting when you should sprint. You're not fucking, are you using, are you getting the right talents? Are you getting your hit? Blah, blah, blah. Mate, I tried it fucking all. I tried subtlety. I tried combat. I tried all the shit. Yes, I know how to hit my fucking oh shit buttons. Yes, I know when to vanish. Yes, I know when to fucking sprint, blah, blah, blah. Like, you guys who've been watching me on hardcore have been, I think, somewhat surprised at how moderately competent of a player I am. I give myself a lot of shit because I'm not the best passer in the world. I give myself a lot of shit because I'm not like a high octane, raider or arena player or anything like that. But as much as I like to, God, what's the word I'm looking for? As much as I like to give myself a bit of stick, underneath all of that, the jokiness, or maybe not so much jokiness, is a pretty fucking competent WoW player. Like, yeah, I make mistakes, but like, I've played a lot of this game for 3 fucking years now, just talking about the classic version. I fucking know what I'm doing, guys. Like, for the most part, yes, I don't know everything, and you guys educate me every day on little things about the game. The finer points of the game, if we get into like fucking algorithms on what expertise does or weapon skill or fucking glancing blows, yeah, I don't read that shit. I vaguely know. I know enough to kind of get my head around it, but you guys know more than me on that stuff. But, the more simple day-to-day stuff, I fucking know how to play the game. I know how to level a character. I know how to not die to stupid shit. And yet, I've never died more in my WoW life than I did leveling a fucking rogue to level 23. Now, I said this, as Zim is saying, are you sure your monitor was on? Yeah, good one. I'm pretty sure it was on. But yeah, Rand, the fucking guy who has played Rogue 23 hours a day for the last 3 years, is like, mate, Rogue is 2 buttons. Just get your fucking positioning right. Yes, Rand, you are the god of rogues. I know you know how to play it. But like, I died more on this one rogue on the journey to 23 than I had on any of, I think, my last 10 characters combined on the way to 60. I fucking shit you not. I was roughly counting, and I think by the time I'd gotten to 23, I had died like 25 to 30 times, something so absurd that the laugh you just elicited hearing that is warranted. It was fucking laughable. I felt like a piece of shit. I felt like the dumbest cunt in the world, all because of this one class. Mate, I've leveled Shaman, I've leveled Paladin, I've leveled Priest, I've leveled Warlock, I've leveled Mage. I fucking get to 60 and you die like what, 5 or 6 times? I don't know. Just a dumb, stupid shit when you're being a fuckwit. This rogue could not stop dying because once you fucking, if you get, it was a learning process, right? One of the best comments I got about my rogue was, Josh, stealth is shit until rank 3. Do not try and stealth and sneak up on shit. I didn't know that. Here I am trying to stealth and sneak up on all this shit. And yeah, it's about, you can still do it with good positioning, and I sort of got the hang of it to do the semicircle, go all the way around the gate and through the back. But like, you still get caught out a lot. And if you get caught out without getting off that ambush or whatever, like, it's makes for a hard fucking, it's the same level mob, and it makes for a tough fucking fight a lot of the time. And like, that's the thing. I was fighting all these mobs, and if it's a same level mob and I go in guns blazing, like, I was losing half my health every mob. I should say I spent a lot, now I know you guys will be going, what spec? I spent a lot of my time leveling subtlety. I know that's not the way you level, guys, but I was setting myself up for world PvP from the beginning, and I leveled as subtlety, but I also had a go at combat. Like I said, I've done the private server thing as well. I've tried combat, I've tried subtlety. Obviously, combat is better. I get it. You don't use stealth. You run in guns blazing and just go nuts. I fucking get it. Yeah, Tim's saying that's a terrible idea to level subtlety. 100% agree. But I still wanted to try it. So, like, maybe that's the explanation, quite simply, is just like, oh, dickhead, you leveled subtlety? That fucking totally makes sense. But I'm still like, from a game design perspective, does it make sense that, like, you can't level as subtlety because it's very, very difficult? Feels weird. But anyway, that's you, Viri. G'day, mate. How you going? But yeah, I mean, Envy, like, I mean, having my Reddit open, everyone knows my Reddit name. It's pretty obvious. I don't know. It's not a big deal to me. So yeah, I just kind of I had a rough time. And the amount of times it came down to who gets the last hit in, and it's just miss, parry, dodge, miss, the warrior meme, miss, dodge, parry, miss, dodge, like, oh, fuck. And it's, we've both got 2% health left. Is the mob going to get the last hit in or me? Yep, he got it. I'm dead. Fuck. Again, user error is mostly to blame. I was learning a new class. But when I learned other classes, I never ran into the same issues. And that's kind of what I keep pointing at. It's very easy to go, oh, Josh, you're the problem. But why wasn't I the problem when I leveled the other classes and did well? Picking up Shaman for the first time was a fucking breeze. Picking up Priest for the first time was a fucking breeze. Warlock, mate, laughing. But Rogue, I feel like I've never played World of Warcraft before. It really made me feel like a day one player. But that's just me. I might be bitching over nothing, but that's the experience that I had. However, now we start to talk about the other facet of the game. Whilst I was really not enjoying PvE, leveling at a snail's pace because I was dying all the time and just fucking losing my zest for the class, I don't want to say I've never had more fun in PvP, because my Wrath Shaman, like I've explained on the show, the first 2 weeks of Wrath on my Enhanced Shaman, I will struggle to ever beat the amount of fun I ever had with the game, like during that period. It was amazing. Enhancement PvP is just so fun to me in Wrath, and I'll see if it is in vanilla with the character that I'm leveling. But I tell you what, and this won't be news to a lot of you, Rogue PvP is a fucking, like, to not be too crude, it's a pubic hair behind that Shaman experience. It's 1A and 1B. It was so ridiculously fun. And, I feel like we take it for granted, this very simple concept of one mechanic, stealth. Stealth is, it's an MMO thing. We get it. There's always a class that's got it, blah, blah, blah. You do the rogue D&D thing. But having experienced stealth for the first time in 15 years over the last few weeks, it, number one, goes without saying, obviously ridiculously broken. But just like, I've found myself having legitimate arguments with myself over whether or not it's fair. And obviously, I'm not saying remove stealth from the game. It's got to be there. It's so fucking fun. It's the class fantasy. It's everything. But at times, it feels so unfair. Fuck, guys, I got to take this call. 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. No, it wasn't my mum. It wasn't my mum. So basically, I really invite you to have a good academic argument with yourself over the fairness of stealth. Like, I had, if I go into the ridiculous nature of it, like, how it changes you as a player is a really intriguing thing to me, and what it does to your personality. Now, obviously, like I said at the top of the show, it's a class that invites you. It's asking you to be evil. You get to surprise people. You get to sneak up on them. You get to, jump the people at 5% health if that's your particular prerogative. You get to just sap people and not even fight them if you just want to be an annoying fuckwit. You get to just do a wide array of pretty crazy shit, in my opinion. What I found myself doing, and this will make some of you laugh because of the sexual innuendo, but it's there's nothing to it. But I really turned into a voyeur. I liked to watch. I really liked to watch. The amount of times I jumped in stealth and I just watched people play the game. Now, I was there as a predator, don't get me wrong. I was looking for people to jump. But I found myself just like really fascinated by people's gameplay as well. And like, there was a weird thing about like, they don't know I can jump them at any fucking second. And sometimes I choose not to. And you got this weird like hand of God thing going on of like, I get to choose whether I introduce my presence to this player and get in a fight with them, or if I let them casually walk on by and continue questing. They have no fucking idea I'm here. It is the most fucked up, bizarre, amazing mechanic. It really is. And I know you're all making fun of me, and I obviously invited you to have a bit of tongue-in-cheek fun about the fucking voyeur thing. But I think if honestly, a lot of you talked about your either your first time with a rogue or the bulk of your playtime with a rogue, you know what I'm talking about. You assess situations from stealth. You sit back, you watch, and that's the whole point of the class, is you get to fucking choose when you go in and when you don't. And when you don't, you're just sitting there watching the world go by, going, oh yeah, this guy's fucked. He's pulled 3 mobs over there. Oh, fucking rip, sunshine. Rightio. Oh yeah, check out these blokes. They reckon they'll kill more Ladim. Fucking good luck with that one, fuckwits. All the dumb shit like that. I really, really weirdly enjoyed it. It was like being with having your GM power and sitting there in invisibility and flying around the world watching people playing the game. It was kind of cool in a weird way. But let's get back to the PvP element of it. So for when I did decide to engage, if many of you have heard my PvP rules of engagement, I absolutely abided by them. It was still only start what would be conceived as a fair fight. Wait for people to get, pretty much topped up on health, then go in. I was in Duskwood. I've mentioned this a couple of times on the show. I was in Duskwood. I'm off camera. Sorry, guys. I was in Duskwood at level 23 for about 8 hours. just logged on for an hour or two here and there for about a week just to fuck around with the Alliance in Duskwood. I was an undead rogue. And all you rogue aficionados will know this when I say level 23. You'll know no fucking cheap shot, no fucking kidney shot, no blind. It's you and ambush, baby, and that's about it. It's a very odd thing, PvPing with a rogue at low levels, but still fun. And a lot of you might say it's not fun. I still had a whale of a time with it. So this is going to be a thing I'm going to go into when I talk about era in general. I was picking people off, and you win some, you lose some. You know how it goes with rogue. You're probably going to win against a clothy. You're probably going to struggle against a warrior or a paladin. I got some of them. I lost to others. It was all just having fun. And I really, I was probably hitting about, fucking 60, 65% on the old win ratio. I don't know if I decided to go in. You're such a shadow of yourself without those, utility things. But I found a bunch of rogues on my faction doing the same thing. Hey, no worries. This is where people come to have a bit of fun with PvP. And I saw 2 or 3 other rogues doing exactly what I was doing. And I was like, oh yeah, here we go. I was watching them try to fucking do the thing. Guess what all of those other rogues were doing? Just have a fucking wild guess. Did you get it? Yes, of course. They're there to fucking gank people at low health. They're there to gank people who have pulled a couple of mobs. They're there to be absolutely rampant fuckwits. So when everyone jokes about, the kind of guy that rolls an undead rogue, these are the guys you're talking about. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a little bit of me in there too, even though I fight fair, I still kind of fucking, pester people. I'd like to sap people and not fight them and just piss them off. That's a classic Josh Dick move of I'm just going to waste a minute of this guy's time and pop a couple of saps on him and just delay him from getting where he's going for no fucking reason. But when I saw these guys jumping on, a mage or a warrior or whatever, literally at 5% health, and they just do the one ambush and they're dead or whatever, it really bothered me. And you guys know I've got and I have to get over this. I'm really, really praying that I get over this for SoM2. This whole sense of justice and sense of, fair fights and everything. I'm not going to change the world of Warcraft. People are going to want to be villains, and that's fine. But stupidly, I would message these guys, and I was very, very confrontational, very offensive. And I would just straight up hit them with the you're a fuckwit. And so this person who's just out there PvPing, just killing people at low health, just gets a message out of the blue. They don't know who I am. They probably haven't seen me because I'm in stealth in the area. And they just get a message saying you're a fuckwit. And I'd just be like, fight them at full health, you fucking dog. And you can, as I said on the podcast a couple of episodes ago, you can imagine how well that goes down. And of course we get in a fight and they're always fuckwits and they always, say the dumbest things to come back. I joked in the hardcore call. I literally got I called someone a fuckwit and I got I know you are, but what am I? And I was like, oh my God. Literally the joke's on me for arguing with a 15-year-old at a certain point. I am the problem. So I don't know what I'm doing. But it really opened my eyes to the power being held in the hand of the rogue, much like Minoru is alluding to in chat now. You have the power, and I joke about the hand of God, but you have this power to be a douche or to not. No other class gets that because they're not sitting there hidden. Other classes can do douchey things, but you should have seen them coming. You can literally... The shaman that's coming to kill you when you finish with your mob and you've only got 10% health, you can see them coming usually from a mile away. Rogues and obviously feral druids flip the script. And now all of a sudden they can just really be pieces of shit. And I really applaud the game for having that mechanic and allowing that exercise of will to be given to the player. It's really fucking cool. I love it. Anyway, I am ranting, but I'm just saying, like, have a bit of a think, and it made me think a lot more about something that we take for granted. This arguably the greatest power in the game is just when you hit that stealth button. All right, any news on Fresh Classic? Nothing, Dave. Sorry, mate, if you're here for that, there's no news. But I'll talk about it a little bit eventually. So anyway, guys, that's been Rogue. I have gotten to the point where I can convince myself that I probably need a Rogue alt. You know, you might ask, oh, sorry, Bubba. You might ask Josh, if you had so much fun with it in PvP, why not just make it the main? It is really just that PvE issue. And also, I've really found out that I don't want to DPS dungeons. Even if it's beyond a raid passing question at this point. Like, oh, Josh, you shit, you can't pass. Yeah, I can't. Oh, you should just do dungeons. There's no pressure in dungeons. You can just DPS and nobody cares. I just don't like DPSing in dungeons. I don't enjoy it. I would much rather be the healer. I'd rather be the tank as well as a second option. I just don't want to fucking DPS. So the concept of, like, while I love the rogue's utility in a dungeon, I love kick, I love expose armor, all that shit. I just don't want to sit there and spam fucking Sinister Strike and, move around to the back and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just not into it. I ran an RFC as a shaman the other day, yesterday, level 14, and just had so much more fun. Even though it's RFC, you don't have to do that much healing. It's a joke. But, like, I enjoy being responsible for the life and death of the party. And I know that sounds wanky and everyone does the healer thing where it's like, oh, you fucking get off on lording that over us. No, it's not that. I just enjoy ripping off a clutch heal. Not that there was a clutch heal in the RFC run, but I enjoy ripping off the clutch heal. I enjoy, people just being happy to have you there and all of that shit. DPS are a dime a dozen. People are happy when the tank or the healer gets there. And I enjoyed, really, it's so dumb because you can't do it in the later dungeons so much. RFC, I enjoy, like, whacking things with my staff and DPSing while I'm healing. And I was tanking half the fucking time as well. I had no idea how much fucking threat Earthshock does. And I've been watching all of Melderon's old shaman guides on YouTube. And I'm really genuinely shocked at, they tried to tell us shamans can tank dungeons in fucking vanilla. And I know you're all going to say, oh, Josh, that was RFC. But, like, as far as I know, and I'm going to keep trying it, as far as I know, most of the dungeons in vanilla are laughable to the point that, yeah, it might not be min-maxy and you might not particularly want to do it. But if you're in a pinch, a shaman can tank those fucking dungeons. And if you've got a healer that'll look after him, it's fine. So I'm told. I look forward to experiencing that. But, like, shocked. And I don't mean to fucking do the pun thing, as lame as it sounds, but I was genuinely shocked at how much threat Earthshock did. It was fucking insane. There were times in RSC, and again, I'm sorry, just RSC, but I wouldn't touch the mob. I wouldn't fucking touch it. I wouldn't heal anyone. I wouldn't touch it. I would do nothing in this fight. And I wouldn't hit it with an earth shock until it was at, like, 45% health or something. And one earth shock and a swing of my staff, would draw aggro. And I'm just like, what the fuck? That's insane. I was really impressed in a weird way. And I'm like, oh, I want to do some shaman tanking. And, I know that we all call the shaman tank fucking aficionados, a little bit odd and, oh, this is so strange. Just let the warriors and the paladins do it. Let the druids do it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and Rockbiter, as Tito was saying, obviously the combination of Rockbiter, a heavy hitting staff and Earthshock. Yeah, it's fucking some good threat, man. I want to try some shaman tanking. And I tell you what, in Season of Mastery 2, when I roll my shaman main, and I will be a shaman main for Season of Mastery 2, if I'm mucking around with you guys that listen to the podcast and we all go to the same server together and we're all in, like, a countdown guild and having a bit of fun, I would hope that some of you would let me tank a dungeon for you as a shaman. I think it would be a lot of fun, and we can all have a laugh. And if you can do the fucking Rocky meme. If he dies, he dies. We'll all just have fun and go again. I really want to look forward to doing everything as a shaman. I want to heal. I want to do some elemental PvP along with some enhancement PvP. I want to try and tank dungeons. Why can't I speak? And just the flexibility that I'm all about hybrid classes these days. I really, really am. And that's why it's kind of been this whole like paladin, shaman, or rogue argument for me. And like I say, I've knocked out the rogue because I've realized that I just don't want to DPS in PvE environments. Being able to wake up one day and being like, today I'm going to tank something. Today I'm going to heal something. Today I'm going to DPS something. I don't know how people don't all play hybrids. They're fucking amazing. It really, really is cool. And I know you don't have dual spec in vanilla, but hopefully it's coming, as a fucking no-brainer decision for Season of Mastery 2. It's just fun. It's fun having options. And the concept of being a mage or a warlock or a hunter to me just doesn't have anywhere near as much appeal, or a rogue, where you've got to wake up and be like, well, I'm a DPS player and it's just how I want to DPS. I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not into it at all. If you are into it, I'm not saying you're playing the game wrong, just we like different things. And this is a very subjective viewpoint from me. But yeah, guys, that's been my rogue experience. Like I've touched on the shaman already. I'll finish it off as well. Like, I know I've only got it to level 17, but it's as Manny was saying in the Discord the other day, I don't know if there's a vibe in WoW that beats shaman. Particularly shaman leveling. Some people might go, oh, druid is, very chill and fun as well, Josh, the class fantasy, all that shit. Fucking shaman leveling is a vibe. It's amazing. It is the battle mage feel is the perfect combination of chill and interactive. I personally think that the 6-second shock is one of the greatest things in the game. If we're doing top 5, and I've always wanted to do a podcast on the top 10 abilities in WoW, or the top 20 abilities. The countdown community ranks the abilities. Personally, like shock, whether it be flame shock, earth shock, or frost shock, on a 6-second cooldown is a top 5 for me. I fucking adore it. I think the cooldown is the perfect amount of time. It's just beautiful. It's really, really cool. And, as Tito is saying, we all joke about the 20-second Storm Strike. Yes, it's a horrible, horrible feeling. So there's balance to it where you get the good and the bad. I do get that. Warrior when, Josh? Oh, God, maybe one day, Tito, we'll see. But yeah, I've just been really enjoying the Shaman again. It's tough for me because whilst I've chosen it as my main because I love the class dearly now, and that love has been solidified over the last 12 months when it's something that, I'd never touched before prior to like April, May last year. Now it's my favorite thing in the fucking game, regardless of what, expansion I'm playing. I just, I actually just bear with me 1 second, guys. I've got to go to the door for 1 sec. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. I had someone at the front door. Again, not my mum. Okay. No, your stream didn't freeze. I am back. Okay, so I was talking to you about Shaman. So my one reservation about Shaman is obviously what they play like at max level in, vanilla PvP. Yes, Elemental is a beast. We all know it. We've all seen the fucking clips on YouTube and everything. And I should shout out, I have been absolutely devouring one particular channel on YouTube over the last few days. And YouTube's such a funny thing where I watch so much WoW classic content, and you still find channels that have existed for years that have never fucking popped up in your recommendations. And this is why I hate it for Countdown, because, my YouTube channel is in the grand scheme of things, like very small traffic, never really pops up in people's recommendations, blah, 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 blah. That's partly on me because I don't upload very often and the algorithm hates you and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, to find like really quality PvP content on channels that have been there for 3 years that you're like, who is this person? And it's fantastic. Go and look at Fails if you don't know Fails yet. Fails is Failz. Just YouTube search Fails Shaman, you'll find it. Unbelievable clips. The amount of clips there, a lot of 1 minute videos, but then his longer clip videos, if you scroll through to his stuff from like 2 and 3 years ago, so good. He's a very, very talented elemental shaman in vanilla, and obviously good at the TBC and Wrath thing as well, but super, super fucking high quality. Do check it out. It comes with the full Countdown to Classic endorsement on good content, and you know how I feel about, good versus bad content in the WoW Classic stratosphere. But what I'm getting at is, yeah, sure, Ellie is great. There's lots of examples of Ellie being amazing, but I do want to enhance, I've gotten to a point of my World of Warcraft life where I'm just like, look, I was all about casters when Classic first started. That first year and a half, it's all I did was fucking priest, mage, warlock. I don't know what I was thinking now, because all I want to do is play melee. And, Tito and I have talked about this very, very briefly a while ago, where it's just like, once you get that melee lust for life, like it's too hard to go back. It's like playing a different game. I don't know how casters do it. Melee is infinitely more fun, in my humble opinion. And it's basically, when I create characters now, it's just fucking, rogue, shaman, warrior, paladin, and, that's about it, because I never roll a druid. It's amazing to me how smooth the game feels when you do play a melee character. But anyway, so I want to enhance PvP. But everyone says, Josh, enhancement PvP in vanilla is not that fun. Like, sure, you've got the Wind Fury thing in your corner, but like, fuck. You get kited for days. Storm Strike's on a 20-second cooldown. Like, there's not that much to do, and it's not that wild. And I don't know if the every now and again Wind Fury crits are fucking worth it. So I've got to really explore that for my own. I personally think that I would still enjoy enhancement PvP even in a vanilla setting. I've not done it before, but I want to try it. And I'm sure that there's plenty of shaman, lovers out there who are like, no, Josh, don't listen to the naysayers. It's fucking good fun. You do you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, even Fred's there saying, it's a lot of fun. It's just terrible. So, I mean, this is kind of like define terrible. Like, people go, oh, it's bad. You'll get your ass kicked a lot. And you've got to remember as well, though, that like, I'm talking more about world PvP as opposed to battlegrounds. And I know everyone go like, yes, even in world PvP, Josh, you'll get fucking destroyed. You will never beat a mage. You will never beat a fucking warrior or whatever it might be. I don't know. I've got to experience it for myself. And there's always Ellie there if for some reason enhance is dog shit. So, yeah. let me talk to you about what I've seen PvP wise on era servers as well. And I want to have a bit of a conversation about, again, not so much my rules of engagement, but just the weirdly shitty behavior that WoW Classic players or WoW players in general revel in. And again, I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel, guys. I accept that this is just, part of WoW. I've got to become more comfortable with it and stop sort of, frowning at people who do this. But I go to Hillsbrad the other day on my rogue, right? He got to 25. It's time to, fucking go to Hillsbrad, do the thing. I was shocked, and this won't shock a lot of you, but I was shocked at how many fucking players are attracted to Lobby, like ganking or just fucking with Lobies. Like, I know we all know Lobby ganking's a thing. And I'm not shocked that a lot of players do it. But I'm more shocked at the extent to which they would go to do it. Like, we talk about people who want to blow off steam by just going to fuck with Lobies for a while, but the Hillsbrad farm, you all know it, on the slightly west side of Hillsbrad, where Horde go and do a million quests and Alliance don't have any fucking reason to be anywhere near this place. There are no Alliance quests there. There's no Alliance quests in that like quadrant of the map or whatever. It's like, it's fucked. So if you see an Alliance player, they're either walking past you to go to SFK or they are there to gank, right? That's it. It's one of two things. I sat down the other day to level on this rogue and I didn't get ganked myself, but I saw people getting ganked. People were all bitching in the general chat about Josh Priest coincidence. No, I'm definitely not Josh Priest. I've been on stream and come up against Josh Priest, so it's not me, but I do appreciate the laugh. But here it is, like, I jump on that level 60 hunter that I told you I had, and I was like, you know what? Fuck these cunts. I am going to go and defend the Horde and stop the Lobby gankers. I am going to go gank the Lobby gankers. And as I say, if you breach Josh's rules of engagement, you get on the KOS list and the rules don't apply anymore. So I, as a 60, was ganking Lobies, but I was ganking Lobies who were ganking Lobies. So the number one rule is the rules go away if you're on the KOS list. If you're a Lobby ganker, you immediately go on my KOS list. Thus, I will gank you whatever fucking level you are, right? Some people might say that's mental gymnastics. I think it makes a lot of sense. So the funny thing is there's a lot of like level 30, 31, 32, 33 players that go to this farm so that they're just, 7 to 10 levels above the players that are there leveling. And they can easily dispatch them, if not, a couple at a time. They're not there for a fair fight. If they were there for a fair fight, they'd be going in there, low to mid, they'd be going there between 23 to 27 or so and looking for a fair fight. That's not what they want. We all know what they want. They want a gank. They want to be assured of victory. So they go there at 32 and they fight all the level 25 players. I saw this happening and I said, not on my watch. So we go on the hunter. And of course, what starts to happen, I just start ripping through these guys on my hunter. There was a couple of rogues there, right? So that was the part that tickled me even more, is that like, and I've talked about this, like the fucking losers that, number one, you're a big enough loser that you gank Lobies. Number two, and this is like the seventh circle of hell type shit. Number two is you do it in pairs. Like you found someone who's as big of a fuckwit as you are, and you're so like, is it that you're so unsure of your skill that you don't do it solo? It's not enough to be like, oh, but what if one of them gets me when I'm 33 and they're 24? I better bring a mate for backup. It is the smallest dick energy you can ever get in this game. Number one, to gank lobies. Number two, to do it in groups. These are my most reviled players in the games. Like, you are fucking pieces of shit. So these two rogues are like tag teaming and going around and double ambushing people and double fucking, teaming up on people. One at a time. Of course, they're not going up to like pairs. They're going up to the people who are solo and just fucking destroying them. And so I made it my mission for that afternoon to just destroy these cunts. And I fucking did. I killed them like half a dozen times. They were in stealth. I just ran around. I did the fucking min-maxy thing where I turned my volume up to full, turned my in-game music down, turned the ambience down, turned the sound effects all the way up so that if I got close to them, I got the stealth sound effect in my ear and I knew to fucking concentrate on that area. And I found these guys all the time, flared them up, serpent sting them up, fucking sometimes one would get away when I was, dropping a couple of globals on the other one and he'd just vanish or whatever. But it was very, very satisfying on my end to fucking destroy these cunts. One of them, I think at one stage would get on his 60 and annihilate me because this was a horribly geared hunter. And I'm not very good at PvP on my hunter. So he surprised me on his warlock when I was like, oh, here comes a warlock. Oh, it's a level 60. He'd already opened on me and I was fucked. So like, I don't care. I'm shit at PvP on my hunter. It's fine. But like, I enjoyed that I bothered them enough to have to get the main. But we did this and again, I was like, I'm having fun with the game. I've got nothing better to do. Like, this is the game for me. A lot of you love to raid and look at what I do, sitting in Hillsbrad defending lobies for 4.5 hours as time wasting. Like, but you didn't get anything out of that, Josh. There are no rewards. There's no honor points. There's literally nothing. You have done something in the game that rewards you with nothing. Mate, it rewarded me with more fun and memories than fucking you'll probably draw from any of the raids that you'll ever do, quite frankly. I feel bad, I don't want to shit on other people enjoying the game the way they enjoy it. But all I'm kind of saying is like, we really, in this min-max 2023 environment, we really discredit how much fun you can derive from this game from just getting lost in the sandbox. And I hate that if there's no reward, people don't want to do it. I hate if there's no bragging rights, like a pass or something, people don't want to do it. But the most fun I will ever have in this fucking game is running around and doing dumb shit that rewards nothing. Defending lobies at Hillsbrad. Going out and fucking, meme RPing somewhere in the world outside of a town or something. I don't know, just the dumb shit that we do. But what I was getting at the top of this point is that, like, after I killed these two rogues and they hung around for about 2 hours and then they left or logged off for the night, a few more people turned up and they were there for an hour. And then another group turned up and then they were there for an hour. And then the last group was like this trio of 60s, a fucking full bis rogue, level 60, going around killing people at the farm. He had a level 60 warrior mate with him, going around killing people at the farm. And the part that I hated was this rogue had a level 19 friend with him. So the level 19 rogue would stealth, open on the level 24, 25s. Yep, cool, that's great. I'm all for that. I do this on a regular basis. Here's a character trying to kill people 5 levels above him. I fucking open on people 5 or 6 levels above me all the time. It's amazing. I love the challenge. Feels great when you do it. And more often than not, you know what? You do kill people fucking a few levels higher than you because they're not expecting it and they're a little bit shocked. The problem here was this fucking level 19 rogue, and they were definitely 2 separate players. I saw them moving independently of one another. It wasn't a multi-boxer. It wasn't a person alt-tabbing on 2 accounts. What I hated was this level 19 rogue, if they've got into trouble after starting the fight, then their full bis level 60 rogue mate would come in and save them. And I'm just like, that's lame. If you're PvPing with the safety blanket, like you know there's no way you're going to lose because your fucking full bis mate is going to clean up your mess. What's the point? What are you doing here? You're a fucking idiot. I just lost a lot of respect for that kind of gameplay. And like, and I was laughing with people in the Discord going, it's weird shithead gamer hangout behavior where I couldn't imagine the conversation where it's like, hey mate, what are you doing on fucking Wednesday night? Nothing. Oh, bro, do you want to go to Hillsbrad and gank people together? Yeah, sure. I'll come on my 19, you come on your 60 and get my back if I lose. Yeah, sure, bro. I'll watch you PvP for 2 hours and jump in if you need me. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But then the argument might be, Josh, that's how they have their fun. You talked about how you have your fun. Don't shit on people because that's how they like to hang out in the game. I guess somewhat of a valid point. I just think it's weird. I think it's shit. Anything that's not a fair fight is fucking lame to me. And if you do it, you're a fuckwit. That's just going to be the hill I die on. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to save or stop low-level ganking in the game. But I reserve my right to call everyone who does it a fucking loser. Sorry. It's how I feel. All right. So my main point was I was absolutely shocked at how many people engage in lobby ganking. Like, this farm is just a magnet, and group after group after group of higher level players came there to sit around and fuck with people for an hour. And I was just really shocked at just how much appeal this had to people and how many of them sign up for it. But anyway, I'll move on. Have some more coffee. My voice is starting to get raspy. Okay. What else? Era is great though. Like, it really actually is popping off now. I can't recommend it enough if you're looking for something to do in the game. If you're a little bit, bored, if you're a little bit down, if you're a little bit like, fuck, where is SoM2? Just go fuck around on Era. Don't take it seriously. Don't get too invested. Just level a character. Have fun. Don't get in a position where you're going to care if SoM2 comes in a month or two and you have to ditch the tune. Just go enjoy it. It's really got a good population now and it's really feeling good. The one thing that is shitty is, like, as opposed to a month ago, yeah, the advertising for all this shit stuff is back. It's all, a lot of it is boost chat in trade chat now. They're all selling their runs. They're all selling the ZG runs, the fucking SM runs, all that shit. Era servers are not SoM servers. They still have the boosting mechanics in there. SoM's what got rid of it, not Era, as far as I know. So they can still do it. And, I didn't miss that about Classic. And Era was really fun last month when you didn't see it. Now I'm seeing it. And it's kind of like, fuck off. Like, I'm so not into the boosting meta. I think it's so fucking lame. And I'm just, anyway. That's that. I got into it. I got into it with a guy who I'm such a fuckwit. Don't ever play this game with me, and you never will, because, like I say, I'm such a solo player. I'm so weird with this game. I don't really play with people generally, but like, just don't ever play with me. I'm such a fucking loser. I got into it with a guy who was like begging for 10 gold in chat the other day. A guy jumps in trade chat, and again, this is kind of shit that I love about Era. Guy jumps in trade chat and goes, someone send me 10 gold. I'm weirdly confrontational with begging in WoW. I'm really not into it. I think it's fucking lame. It is not hard to make gold in this game. We all had to do it. Just fucking go out and do it. I felt a little bit funny. Like, you know how I feel about streamers taking money, even though they don't beg for it. Like, the whole just giving money to someone, and I don't fucking bring up real world analogies. It's so fucking dumb. We're talking about World of Warcraft here. Streamers accepting money in the game on stream and stuff and on video is really, really weird to me. Like, we know, everyone brings up the Asmon example. I'm super not into it. I don't do it myself. I think it's fucking lame to just be bankrolled by other players. It really removes an element of difficulty of the game. But like, even I was watching and you know, I love the guy. So this is not throwing shade at him. I love the guy. I love his channel. But I do feel the need still to mention it. Like, I was watching an Azimus video yesterday, and like on stream he accepted, like, someone just ran up and traded him like a bunch of gold, and he accepted it straight away. And like, then someone whispers him and says, "Oh, can I get some of that?" And yeah, to be fair, he gives them a little bit of it too. I just think it's weird, and I just think it's like, this is coming back into the begging argument, but the whole like getting gold that you didn't earn. And I get that friends trade friends gold. Like, I've taken a loan, for example, from someone in this very chat. Lockth has given, I think in Classic, Lockth gave me what was it, Lockth? It might have been like a 300 gold loan. And I took that really seriously, and I paid him back 7 days later. And I needed to pay him back to not feel like a burden, unlike our friend Hunk with Jay. But like, I'm personally very weird about players getting gold they didn't earn in the game. Like I say, in the environment of like, where like buying gold is so easy, you know, it dumbs down the difficulty of the game. The whole point of Classic is that it's, you know, you've got to go earn the gold so then you can go get all the cool shit. If we make gold valueless, like, it's just dumb to me. So that's why I feel weird about streamers getting gold. And I also feel weird about beggars. And I've never talked about this on the show. It probably would have warranted its whole own 30 to 45 minute call 2 years ago on the show. But a lot of you are going to feel very differently towards me. A lot of you are going to be fine with begging. You might be like, you know, if a level 10 character comes up to you and says like, "Hey man, could I get, you know, fucking 50 silver? Could I get 1 gold?" A lot of you would be like, "Mate, it's a game. No fucking worries. Here's a gold. I've got fucking 10,000 gold in the bank. You know, go have fun." I'm the guy who, unfortunately, and, you know, I'm sorry if this changes your opinion of me, guys, but I've been trying to warn you I'm a fuckwit for a long time now. I'm the guy that replies to every beggar in game, or if I see someone openly begging in trade chat or whatever, I'll always go after them and say, like, "Fuck off, loser." I'm sorry, I'm a prick. If someone says to me, "Hey mate, can I have half a gold?" Fuck off. I'll just 100% to say fuck off. I'm not nice about it. I'm really aggressive about it. I say fuck off. I went out and earned mine. Go get it. And I know, like, you'd be like, "Oh, Josh does this IRL to beggars." No, I don't do it fucking IRL. Just, again, they were talking about WoW here. So this guy, I got particularly uppity yesterday because this guy in Era goes, someone sent me 10 gold. And then he immediately followed it up with, "All you no-life losers have thousands of gold. Just fucking send me 10 gold. It's a fucking game." And I was like, okay, well, there's like the absolutely wrong way to go about begging for gold. You know, disparage the people who are going to be sending it to you before anyone actually engages with you. That's a winning attitude. So I naturally, because I'm a fuckwit who loves confrontation, jumped in trade chat and just fucking got stuck into this guy. Just called him a fuckwit and all the fucking, you know, "Mate, you're level 15. Are you so doubtful of your ability to earn?" Like, and the funniest thing is he asked for 10 gold. No one begs for 10 gold. They're all smart enough to set their sights low and realistic. 10 gold is like, you know, I don't think it's an insubstantial amount to ask from someone. I've never, ever, ever seen a beggar ask for 10 gold. I think the most I've seen someone ask for is a couple of gold. Going for 10 gold, I was just like, mate, go fuck yourself. Like, number one, it's bad enough that you're begging. Number two, you're asking for way too much. And this guy, you know, again, as is usually the case when you get confrontational with people in WoW, you know, he went toxic. He went to the fucking low road. He brought out all the fucking, you know, the words that you could imagine he brought up. And it was a kid. And it's tough because, like, you know, Josh, you're a 40-year-old man. You're playing what is for by and large, for all intents and purposes, a younger person's game, why do you, be surprised that you're upsetting a teenager playing at home? The guy had all the fucking, and I know a lot of people say like, maybe it's just a fucking dickhead adult as well. Look, maybe, but all the fucking homophobic shit, all the dumb shit that, they're such fucking idiots, everything's gay, everything's, fucking you're gay, this is gay. Like, shut up, idiot. Just, outing yourself as an absolute fuckwit and, more probable than not that you're a fucking kid. There's nothing wrong with being a kid. I'm not doing ageist shit here. But just like kids are more prone to say toxic shit in the game that people don't want to fucking hear. And I gave it to this guy and I just thought it was, so telling that as soon as they don't get what they want and someone calls them out, that they turn into the stereotypical toxic gamer. And I was just like, and I was really, really glad that everyone else in trade chat was with me and they all started piling on this guy, calling him a fuckwit, calling him out for the homophobic shit and stuff like that. It's just like, these are the people that I don't want to play WoW with. And these are the, I know so many of you have so many positive examples of like, your interactions with people in the game. And yes, I started this fight, so I can't really talk. But like, this is one of the reasons why I don't really talk to people in WoW. I just so often, whilst I am being abrasive and fighting with people myself, so often the level of toxicity that is thrown back as a return on serve is just enough to the point that I'm just like, I know this game has good people playing it, but I feel like everyone's a fuckwit. And I'm, like I say, I'm a fuckwit as well to a certain extent. I start fights with people. I'm an agitator. I'm aggressive. It doesn't matter that it's coming from a quote unquote good place. I start fights and I shouldn't do that. But it's just a story that I thought was worth mentioning, that just like to stir some thought on how you feel about begging in the game, but also like how you feel about if you do get stuck into it with someone, the kind of language that flies back and forth publicly. That was in a trade chat. That wasn't whispers. It was everyone could see this and everyone's like, this guy's a fuckwit. But anyway. Fuck, I am rambling now. But yeah, guys, these have just been my era experiences over the last week or so or two. It's been a lot of fun. I know I'm sitting here with negative stories, but it's been a fucking blast. And this is the beauty that World of Warcraft brings you, is all these weird and wacky interactions. And whilst I like to, try and be a bit of a weird fucking Batman who I think is like bringing justice against the bad guys, I'm not. I'm just some fuckwit playing the game along with them. And I need to chill out more. And this is really a goal of mine for Season of Mastery 2, is just chill the fuck out. Just fucking, there are good guys out there. There are bad guys out there. Just fucking enjoy the game. Engage with people where you can and just fucking relax. It's what I really need to do. We need SoM2 news. We fucking need it. Everyone's dying. It's killing me that we haven't had any. I thought we'd get some, relatively, around this time in late April or whatever. I'm feel like I'm dying of thirst in the desert. Please help me, Agrend. You're my only hope. The timing of it is, we had a discussion the other day in the Discord about like, I thought it was going to be pre-summer, judging by the fact that we haven't had any news yet of an announcement. Maybe they're doing post-summer. I still think it's coming soon. A lot of people still want to say like, no, it'll come when Wrath is done. I really, truly think it's still coming relatively soon. So like my pre-summer argument now is pushed into a post-summer argument. You have all those discussions over what works best financially for Blizzard. Is it better to catch people before summer holidays, get the kids wanting to stay inside and play video games during their summer holidays, or is it better to release after the summer holidays when they've been off with the family and then catch them when they're back at school and at home, blah, 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 blah. That's a matter for argument. Blizzard would have all the figures on that. I think post-summer is actually the correct answer. I'm not sure. But, I'd still think it's the right call to do it soon. And quite frankly, I think that not to get too personal, it's not personal, it's, directed at the Classic team as an entity, but like, I would hate to see them make the same mistake as they did with SoM2, being like short notice, no advertising. It would just be a fool's folly at this point. Like, one of the reasons I think Classic WoW did so well is the amount of time it had to drive hype. We got it was announced in fucking November 2017. It came out in August 2019. You had a ridiculous amount of time, almost 2 years to drive the hype. And I'm not a big subscriber to the ridiculous amount of time that games get announced before their release date. If you've heard me on the show, sometimes I've said I'm a really big believer in far shorter windows of hype for a game. Look, whether they work or not, I don't know. But I think announce something 3 to 6 months before it comes out. Not a month before it comes out, but drive a bit of hype. I just think if they announced it and said it's coming out next month, that would be detrimental to what they want to do in driving people to it. Fuck, man, announce it now. Say it's coming at the end of July. That's your best possible fucking thing to do. Give us 3 months of getting excited, talking about, you've got a fucking podcast that will help drive the hype. We'll all talk about what classes we want to play. We'll all talk about how we're going to do things different this time, blah, 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 blah. If you announce it with 4 weeks to go, I just don't think it's as big of a net positive. But maybe that's just me. I think it's a lesson to be learned from the past. But yeah, I also mentioned that I tried Turtle WoW. I don't want to sort of leave you hanging on this one if you were waiting for me to talk about this. Sorry. I tried Turtle WoW the other day. A lot of you have been saying, Josh, you got to try Turtle WoW. Let me say this first and foremost about Turtle WoW. Yes, all the changes they made are fucking fantastic. I hope and pray in my heart of hearts that Season of Mastery 2 basically does what Turtle WoW has done in terms of class changes. Very, very smart changes. Great to see new content. It's kind of like a Classic Plus, whatever. Great, cool. But then I tried Turtle WoW. Finally, I broke. And look, your mileage may vary. You guys know I still try private servers every now and again. I leveled to fucking max. Like I said, on a TBC private server the other day, I had a great time. The 1.12 client combined with private server network connections and all that shit and server performance, I personally found Turtle WoW to be unplayable. A lot of you will be having a great time there, and that's cool. Like I said, we each will have our own experiences. I didn't like, and this is the whole private server thing versus, what you pay for with Blizzard. And I know that it's so easy for private server, lifers to be like, lol, keck, imagine paying for what you get with Blizzard. You're the fucking mark. You're the joke. Oh my God, their servers don't have large-scale world PvP. Oh my God, they fucking have bots, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of that is true. And Blizzard, has been, and I've criticized Blizzard very heavily in the past for, things that are part of their servers that people are paying for a subscription to that are kind of unacceptable. The customer service, we hammered them for their ridiculous customer service the other day that people are paying for. Blizzard servers aren't perfect and they come with a price. So, that comes under scrutiny. Private servers are free. And so generally there is no scrutiny because it's like if it's shit, people just won't play. But, they're not paying for it. So whatever, shoulder shrug. But I'll say this much, you pay a subscription fee to Blizzard for an use of an updated client. They've got the 1.14 or whatever client. It drives like a fucking Ferrari in my mind. And every time I jump on fucking r/WoW servers and I see these fucking idiots championing 1.12, and again, I might have offended some of you if you're a big 1.12 stan. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. I can't take you seriously if you think the 1.12 client is actually better than the 1.14. It's like fucking, it's like the boomer dad slapping on the hood of the fucking 74 Holden going, oh, mate, sturdy as fuck, will get you to A to B. Fucking this is your car you need through college. It's fucking great car, never let you down. Versus like the new Toyota or whatever, the new Prius you want to drive, I don't know. But like it is like driving a Ferrari, the new client. You know, server performance aside, that's a different thing with the, you know, the large scale PvP and all that shit. The client in and of itself is beautiful. And, you know, that's part of the purchase price as far as I'm concerned. And it's a price that I'm fucking willing to pay because I can't stand that old client. So I log on to Turtle WoW and I fucking hate that old client. But then combined, even though I still play private servers with the 1.12 client as much as I hate it, there were little things like, well, it was a big thing for me. Like, you know, I roll a shaman and my fucking character isn't animating lightning bolts. Like, it gets the first one off and then, you know, you pull a boar, you cast 3 lightning bolts in succession and it only animates the first one. Because you're on a fucking private server that is not fucking run by professionals as much as they like to think that they are. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on private servers, guys. I still enjoy private servers from time to time, but I just fucking can't stand when people talk about private servers like they are infinitely better than what Blizzard could do. It's just like, it's dumb. It's so dumb. I couldn't handle it. I fucking hated the game. It killed my enjoyment, my immersion, my character. I'm like, I'm seeing the damage go off the mob I'm fighting, but nothing's being animated. It's stupid. I logged off at level 3. Just went, fuck this. This server's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. That's my take on it. You know, a lot of you are enjoying it. A lot of you have recommended it to me. If someone asked me today, hey, Josh, would you recommend playing on Turtle WoW? My answer would be no, sorry, I had a shit time. Try it out if you want to. You might get a different experience, but I had a shit time people go, oh, you're only there for 10 minutes, mate. 10 minutes was enough. When I turn my character, I get a slideshow. I don't want that. It's fucking lame. Anyway, that's just me. I think that's about it. Well, the last thing I wanted to talk about, I mean, you guys will hear this in the hardcore conversation that is coming up or that you've already heard actually in this very episode. I find it really funny. There was an amazing meme that I've got up on stream right now that someone put up, Aravath on the WoW Classic subreddit, put up this great cartoon talking about all the people asking for the changes to hardcore on the subreddit when official hardcore servers become a thing, because they will. You know, I don't have any insider information. I'm just like, mate, if I'm a gambler, which I am or used to be, I would be betting my fucking house that we're getting official hardcore servers. So what should those hardcore servers look like? Everyone on the subreddit, not everyone, but a lot of people on the subreddit want to change things. I should be able to group. I should be able to use the auction house. I should be able to run dungeons as much as I want. If I get this dumbest thing I heard, if I get a green, I should be able to treat that as a token and trade it in for a green that is relevant to my class. I just feel like all of these people are asking for softcore. They don't want hardcore, they want softcore. And it's like, look, that's cool. I'm all for accessibility and, you know, you play the game how you want to play it. But this hardcore community created their own set of rules. If you don't like it, don't play it. Or guess what? You can do your own little version of hardcore and you'll get the achievement in your mind. Hey, I leveled to 60 and I didn't die, but I used the auction house and I grouped and I traded and I ran as many dungeons as I wanted. That's great. That's kind of, sort of, not really, a little bit impressive. Good for you. You did it. You've got the achievement in your mind. That's all that should matter. No, but I want other people to know about it. Yeah, but it's not that impressive. No, but they should know. Let's make everyone do it this way and then it'll be impressive. fucking whatever. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just like, if Blizzard's going to do a hardcore, they should do the one that actually got popular with the rules that they've got. Everyone's like, oh, but it's not an MMO. Hardcore defeats the purpose of being an MMO. That's the fucking point. It's something different. It's a weird little offshoot of this game. It's a fucking spin-off. It's not meant to be like for everyone. If you don't like it, then don't do it. The whole point of hardcore is to have the achievement mean something. RNG plays a factor. If you got kissed on the dick by the gods and you got all the amazing greens to drop for you and blues, fucking blessed run. Go have fun. That's part of it. That's part of the challenge. You're not supposed to just jump on the auction house and buy all the best gear. You're not supposed to just farm a dungeon for all the blues that you want. You know, you're not supposed to just trade with people that got the lucky drop and you didn't. The point is for it to be fucking hard. If you want it to be easy, where's the achievement? I'm not even that big of a hardcore player, but like this speaks to my principles so much that I get weirdly passionate about it. And like, again, I know, and there were even people on the hardcore call with me who I fucking love to death, who might disagree with me and be like, Josh, it doesn't hurt, and it came up, Josh, it doesn't hurt you to let people play the way they want to play. Yeah, I don't care. Look, you know what? If there are multiple modes, go nuts. Blizzard, do it. Give us the hardcore with a capital H and hardcore with a lowercase h. If you want to give them different ways to do it, fucking go nuts. I don't care. But if you're picking one, I just think you should pick the one that's actually hard. That's me. I don't fucking know. I'm just some dude with a fucking opinion. You know what I mean? You can disagree with me, but like, it means something when a good green drops. If you want to remove that feeling of elation because you can now sell it on the auction house and get money and then buy something that you can actually use, you've robbed yourself of that fist pump moment when you get that fucking, you know, two-handed mace of the bear that you really wanted. If you want to group up in the open world and just fucking water down and trivialize the difficulty of every moderate to hard quest in the game, every moderate to tough elite in the game, I mean, you can fucking go nuts if you want, but you didn't overcome a challenge. We all know, you get 5 people together for Hogger. It's not fucking hard. And you're going to walk around like you got a big dick because you did that? Shut the fuck up. Stop trying to make it easy. No one cares. No one's impressed because you didn't die on your way to 60 when you could just basically, what you're asking for is just World of Warcraft. Mate, can I get some World of Warcraft with my World of Warcraft? Yeah, it's already available. Oh, sick. Thanks, mate. They're devising something different. If you don't like it, don't play it. I don't know. I'm ranting again. I'm just going to upset everyone in this fucking monologue, aren't I? Anyway, I'll sign off by saying that I love you all. I hope that you're enjoying the game. Look, we're still going strong. I was lamenting last week that I'm really feeling a little bit down because I don't know what to play. I don't know whether I should play Wrath. Don't know whether I should play Era. I don't want to get invested in anything. I still a little bit feel that way, but I'm trying to have fun with the options before me. Take a look at the menu, pick something, and go for it. And you know what? It's okay to leave the restaurant too for a while. If you want to quit WoW for a couple of months before SoM2 comes out, go nuts. Recharge the batteries, reassess how you feel about the game, have a think about what you want to do next. Or quit entirely if you need to, if you feel like WoW's become a problem for you. Just do what makes you happy, guys. And I'll always be here to chat about you no matter what you're doing, all right? So, yes, Lockth, Josh hates everyone is the theme of this podcast. We're all done. Guys, that's the monologue. Hey, guys, look, I'll just reach out. Anyone in chat, and you don't have to if you don't want. Does anyone in chat actually want to talk to me about anything that I just raised? Or, you know what, you don't even have to talk to me. Do you just want to say something? Guys, if you want to get in voice, let me know in YouTube chat and we'll make it happen. No pressure, by all means, guys. If nobody says anything, I'm not going to be brokenhearted. It's fine. you just let me know. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, Locke. Thanks, Minoru. Thanks, Gecko. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. Sorry I wasn't so great with reading the chat while I was going. Thanks, The Last. Thanks, Tito. Thanks, Tice. Thanks, Skill. Everyone's here. Fred, you legend. Halicarnassus was here. Rob was here. Albin, Zim, fucking everyone. I love it. Thanks, guys. Tim was here. That was Veery. Rand. There was a Rand sighting. It was all happening. All right, guys. We might. Well, let me think if I actually if I keep streaming and turn this into a gameplay stream. Let me. It's all good, Garrett. Look, you'll get me another time, man. Don't feel bad that you were caught out and you're not at home or whatever, mate. You can reach out to me anytime, and I always say this, like DM me on Discord if you're like, Josh, fuck, I've only got 5 minutes worth of something to say, but I want to say something, mate. It's all good. Just contact me and we'll make it happen. Gecko votes for rolling on with the gameplay. We can do that. Bear with me. I'll just go check with the missus, guys. Just see what she's up to. I love hardcore, Garrett. Literally, you'll hear a 2.5 hour call on this episode when I publish it about me gushing about hardcore. I love hardcore. I think it's fantastic. I loved it so much more than I thought I would. But I don't necessarily want to play it all the time. And when my hardcore character dies, I'm not so sure I'll want to play anymore. We'll see how we go. That's how I feel about it. But I love that everyone's loving it. Bear with me, guys. I'm losing my voice. Let me just go talk to Patricia for a second. Guys, I better end the stream just because I'm going to lose my voice if I keep going. So I'll talk to you later. And I love you all. And I shall let you know when. Look, I'll either release this podcast. I'll probably release it tomorrow, to be honest with you. I was going to do it maybe in the next 5 or 6 hours, but I think I'll just do it in about 24 hours. So keep an eye out. I'll speak to you guys later. Have a good one. Thanks, guys.